Top 15 Ghost Sightings of All Time. Debunkingdeath.blogspot.com. 1. The Brown Lady of Rainham Hall, England, 1936. This is perhaps the most famous ghost photograph ever taken. In 1936, photographers from Country Life magazine captured an image of a spectral figure descending the stairs at Rainham Hall in Norfolk, England. The photograph has been scrutinized by experts but remains unexplained. Despite attempts to debunk it, the image continues to baffle investigators and remains one of the most credible ghost sightings in history. Source: Country Life magazine, September 1936. 2. The Amityville Ghost, USA, 1974. In 1974, the Lutz family moved into a house in Amityville, New York, where a horrific mass murder had occurred. After moving in, the family experienced terrifying supernatural occurrences, from strange sounds to ghostly apparitions. The most famous evidence is a photograph showing what looks like a child's ghost peering out from a doorway. This chilling image has cemented Amityville's reputation as one of the most infamous hauntings. Source: The Amityville Horror by J. Anson. 3. The Ghost of Abraham Lincoln, USA, 20th Century. Abraham Lincoln's ghost has been seen multiple times in the White House. Famous witnesses include First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt and Prime Minister Winston Churchill. Lincoln's ghost is said to appear in times of national crisis, often walking the halls of the White House or standing by windows. His spirit remains one of the most frequently reported presidential apparitions. Source: The White House Historical Association. 4. The Myrtles Plantation, USA, 1796-present. This Louisiana plantation is known for its many ghost stories, particularly that of Chloe, a former enslaved woman who was said to be hanged after poisoning the family of the plantation owner. Visitors have reported seeing Chloe's ghost, as well as numerous other spirits, including a soldier and a young girl. The plantation remains a hotspot for paranormal investigators. Source: Historical accounts, ghost tours, paranormal investigations. 5. The Queen Mary Ship Haunting, USA, 1960s-present. The RMS Queen Mary, a retired ocean liner now docked in Long Beach, California, has a long history of ghost sightings. Guests and employees have reported hearing ghostly footsteps, seeing figures in 1930s clothing, and even encountering a ghostly little girl near the ship's pool area. The Queen Mary has been dubbed one of the most haunted ships in the world. Source: Ship logs, guest testimonies. 6. The Tower of London Ghosts, England, ongoing. The Tower of London is notorious for its ghostly residents, particularly Anne Boleyn, the second wife of Henry VIII, who was beheaded in 1536. Her ghost has reportedly been seen walking through the tower's corridors, sometimes carrying her head. Other ghostly figures include two young princes who disappeared mysteriously and are thought to have been murdered within the tower walls. Source: Historical accounts, visitor testimonies. 7. The Enfield Poltergeist, England, 1977-1979. This haunting occurred in Enfield, a suburb of London, and involved a single mother and her children experiencing paranormal activity in their home. Witnesses, including police officers and reporters, saw furniture moving on its own, heard disembodied voices, and witnessed strange behavior from one of the daughters. Though some skeptics remain, the Enfield case is one of the most well-documented poltergeist cases. Source: News reports, interviews, paranormal investigations. 8. The Ghosts of the Stanley Hotel, USA, 1909-present. The Stanley Hotel in Colorado inspired Stephen King's The Shining and is famous for its ghost sightings. Guests have reported hearing piano music when no one is playing, children laughing in empty hallways, and seeing the apparitions of the hotel's original owners. The hotel offers ghost tours, attracting paranormal enthusiasts from all over the world. Source: Guest testimonies, hotel records. 9. The Hampton Court Palace Haunting, England, 2003. In 2003, security cameras at Hampton Court Palace in England captured a ghostly figure opening a set of doors. The figure, dressed in robes, was dubbed Skeletor by the press. The palace has a long history of ghost sightings, including the spirit of Catherine Howard, one of Henry VIII's wives, who is said to run through the palace's halls, screaming. Source: CCTV footage, The Guardian. 10. The Ghost of the Greyfriars Kirkyard, Scotland, 1998-present. Greyfriars Kirkyard in Edinburgh is considered one of the most haunted graveyards in the world. The spirit of George Mackenzie, a 17th-century judge known for his cruelty, is said to haunt his mausoleum. Visitors have reported being scratched, pushed, and even fainting near his tomb. Paranormal activity has been so intense that parts of the graveyard have been closed to the public at times. Source: Paranormal Investigators, Visitor Reports. 11. Eastern State Penitentiary, USA, 1829-1971. This former prison in Philadelphia is known for its eerie atmosphere and reports of ghostly encounters. The prison's most infamous inmate, Al Capone, claimed to have been haunted by the ghost of James Clark, one of the men murdered in the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Visitors today report hearing strange voices, seeing shadowy figures, and feeling sudden chills while exploring the crumbling cell blocks. Source: Documentaries, Ghost Tours, Visitor Testimonies. 12. The Phantoms of Gettysburg, USA, 1863-present. The Gettysburg Battlefield, the site of one of the bloodiest battles in the American Civil War, is said to be haunted by the spirits of soldiers. Witnesses report hearing gunfire, seeing soldiers in uniform walking across the battlefield, and encountering misty figures who disappear into the trees. Gettysburg remains a popular site for ghost hunters and history buffs alike. Source: Historical Accounts, Visitor Experiences. 13. The Ghost of Flight 401, USA, 1972. After the crash of Eastern Airlines Flight 401 in the Florida Everglades, several employees reported seeing the ghost of Don Repo, the flight engineer who had died in the crash. These sightings were particularly unnerving because parts from the wreckage had been reused in other planes. The reports of Repo's ghost haunting these flights were detailed in books and TV specials. Source: The Ghost of Flight 401 by John G. Fuller, Crew Testimonies. 14. The Screaming Skull of Bettiscombe Manor, England, 1800s-present. Bettiscombe Manor in Dorset, England, is home to one of the most unusual hauntings, a screaming skull. Legend says that the skull belonged to a slave brought to the manor and that after his death, the skull refused to be buried. Attempts to remove or bury it reportedly resulted in strange noises and misfortune, leading the owners to keep the skull inside the house. Source: Historical Records, Local Folklore. 15. The Winchester Mystery House, USA, 1884-1922. Sarah Winchester, the widow of the inventor of the Winchester rifle, built the Winchester Mystery House in California. Believing she was haunted by the spirits of those killed by her husband's invention, she kept construction on the house going until her death. The result is a bizarre mansion with staircases that lead nowhere and doors that open into walls. The house is said to be haunted by numerous spirits, including Sarah herself. Source: Historical Records, Paranormal Investigations.